state the stage of the translation process that represents each of the following descriptions. A stream of characters making up the source program is read from left to right and grouped into tokens. That is lexical analysis. Piece of code is transformed to make it more efficient without changing its output. That's code optimization. I explain the rules of a watch in programming. A watch will track the value or status of a variable during the course of executing the program. So watches like when you put the printfs inside your code to see what is printing out. Usually if you're checking to see if a function is working, you'll put a printf to see if it works or not. Next, write a C function which accepts an integer array and an integer variable indicating the size. The function to return a count of all the numbers in the array that are less than 20. Alright, so you have int less than array. So this is the array coming in as an integer. This is the size coming in as an integer. And int C and count 0. I didn't put marks for this. I don't know why. For C is equal to 0, C less than size. The same size that you got is the size I'm using for the for loop. It's basically almost like a linear switch. And then if ARC is less than 20, you carry up the count plus, and then you return the count. That's the function way. That shouldn't be too difficult. Alright, part D. A non-profit organization is asking for donations for a worthy cause. They hope to raise $100,000. All donations are stored in a file called donations.txt. So donations.txt is where you put any information. First line of the file gives the amount the organization hopes to raise. So the first line will look something like this. The first line will have the amount they intend to raise, and each line after contains a donation amount, which will be like that. And the last line of data is -1. I'll tell you when we reach to the end. So we had to write a program that will output a file called funds.txt. So let's go. Include stdio.h float. You had to have some floats, such as the amount, the discount, the total, and actually, if you declare everything as a float, you wouldn't get, like, they wouldn't penalize you or anything. So because this is a lot of money values, putting everything as a float will be smart. You may get integer for like C for count or something like that, but yeah, you could put them as a float, all as a float. Alright, so you open up your two files, one opening up the donations in read mode, one opening up the funds in write mode. After we do that, we should fscan from the input file the amount. You have to scan on the outside. The reason you have to scan on the outside is you have to scan to see if the you have to scan the amount, the starting amount, which will be the first value in the file, and then the second scan you do will be checking to see if the donation, if you get a donation. So then you have while donation is not equal to -1, you could carry up the count by 1 because you got a valid donation. You could see the total, you got the total plus donation, and then you could scan it. Then you have to scan in the next file. Now this scan here has to be done at the end because you scanned before the while loop. So this scan here will get a new value for D. That will give you the opportunity to check here, and when you check here, we'll check to see if it's -1 or not, and then the count will go up, the total will go up. And this whole while loop here will run, and after you're done, you just print out everything. Alright, good. So we get that. Next, explain why indentation is important in programming so that it's easy to read by separating the control structures clearly. You're going to want to mention something about control structures because the indentation separates the control structures. If you don't put the control structures, you do get one more. Why is it recommended that comments you put in programming code so that anyone who has to update the code would be able to understand what each section does, or if anybody that has to work on the code after, anybody that has to fix the code or update the code, they'll be able to do it. Yeah. Alright, now this one.
31, you could just I had everything else but the 31.
You had I is 3, J is 9, I is 4, 8, 5, 7. Alright. So yeah, once again, the 3 and the 9 and the 8 and the 4 and the 8 and the 5 and the 7. You should be good. Once you get to the point where it says new I is equal to 6, which is this part here, new I is equal to 6, what would happen now is that the for loop had to kick back in. But because the for loop has to respond to the value of J, inside here, J changed when you divide J by 3, and J was keep going down all the time. So J started off at 9, then it went to 8, then it went to 7, right? So once that J reached to 7 and then reaches J minus and J end up reaching to 7, the loop will go up and it will take whatever value you have of J at that point in time and subtract, J would end up being 3. Yeah, so you'll take the value of j that I have at that point in time, and then you'll get j is equal to j minus 3. So this is going to take whatever value of j comes in. Once it's above 0, it will just minus 3 from it. So that's why the j jumped down to 3. So when that j jumps down to 3 now, you're gonna end up getting I is equal to j divided by 3, which is 3 divided by 3. That's how we get it 1. You get this I is equal to 1 here when you went back up to the for loop. So once you get back that 1, you just go back in this while loop, and this while loop will run only once, because I go end up going up by 1, and the 1 will reach a 2, and the j will go down by 1, and the j will end up 2, and therefore it wouldn't match again. So it will print out the new I, and then the for loop wouldn't be able to run again, because j will end up becoming minus 1, because it will be 2 minus 3.
And then you add this and then the
Yeah. Alright, now part D. Either program that accepts two values, price and tax, both of type float. The program applies tax to price and prints the old price and the new price in an appropriate message. Note that tax is given as a percentage. Whenever the tax is given a percentage, I remember to divide by 100. So, for example, you get 1,000 and you get 10. I'll print out the old price and new price. So start here. Alright, so everything should be a float because we denote numbers. So you have price, you have tax, and you have new price. Then you print enter price and tax, which is scanf now. Scanf, you read the two F's, read the two price and tax, get them inside. And you calculate the new price is equal to price by tax, and then print out the old price and new price. The thing about this is that there was no loop, there was no nothing, there was just reading two values. So it's like a giveaway math. And then write C code to read 4 integers and print their average. It's like they reached to the end of the paper and they was like, boy, to ask them, all you want to pass track this question? Nah, don't pass track this question. Okay, let's ask them to do a random normal question that just reads for two values and print it back out. You want to put a loop inside? Nah, don't put a loop inside, boy. Nah, I take it easy on them because I don't know how this last question was so simple. Read 4 integers and find the average. Do not write an entire program. So that's the end of 2014.